where people like want to have sex, but doesn't mean they will.
Yeah,
Because
I know that they were originally going for like they would explode it over their enemies, and then their enemies would like start making out and having sex with each other right there. It's like, what are you? What military? Are you seriously wasting money on this? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, it starts so weird too because we're human beings. Even if we were like they had some chemical, that doesn't mean we're going to just do that automatically. It sounds like it's science fiction stuff. This is a part of the same madness. Science fiction, fan fiction. It's not based in reality.
Yeah, this isn't the pink kryptonite, okay? And they're not Superman. Oh wait, sorry, we can't talk about the pink kryptonite.
Felix asked me, have you seen Neil deGrasse talk about the paper? Yes, I saw it, and his response was really good. I think he left a link with his notes. I still have to go through the link, but he gave it, I think, more that time than it deserved.
Yeah,
because
I didn't Terrence respond to that though. I believe I remember seeing a video where he responded to it. I think.
No, I haven't seen that one. But Neil deGrasse Tyson's response popped up on my feed, and I don't follow him. I don't know. Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't appeal to me so much. But his response was really good, and I think it was more than Terrence actually deserves, because like his paper is a whole bunch of nothing. But yeah, I saw it. So we don't have that much to say today for the after show. It's a disappointment when we can't have a good after show because the debates are either boring, and it happened with the last one with Raza and MC2, no, so that it was kind of, oh well, what are we going to do? We covered the whole debate in a handful of minutes, so let's just talk about random stuff now. But it makes the after shows bad if the debate isn't good.
Do you mind if I share something too from what I?
No problem. Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt or take too much time, but
no problem.
I feel the problem with these debates are you need to have some kind of speciality in these fields. The problem is just, hey, I believe a certain thing on this topic doesn't mean you can debate it. Or even let's say someone's debating for a religion. That doesn't mean they have speciality in that religion. There's this person who does religion talks. I think that's his name. That's the YouTube channel, and his name is Philip Holm. He talks about Islam, right? He's a far more of an expert on Islam than many Islamic debaters because he has a master's degree in this field. You know what I mean? So I'd rather hear him debate than just someone who happens to practice Islam. You know what I mean? I'd rather hear people about specialty in whatever they're studying, talking about what the field, because just because you're a practitioner doesn't mean you know anything about what you're practicing, like within religion, you know? And that's the same thing. Let's say I believe in the flat earth. That doesn't mean I have the skill set or the speciality to talk about this because I don't know science. I don't know mathematics. I don't know how to explain these things. So what I've learned is I've watched a couple YouTube videos. I learned some talking points. I parrot those talking points, and then I speak them out. Like there's a good movie. It's also a very disturbing movie called Jesus Camp. And in the movie, you have these children that are being like indoctrinated, right? And they've learned talking points so they can speak the talking point. But in reality, if they have to defend it, they're not going to do a good job. You know, like their teacher tells them how bad Harry Potter is and it's demonic and satanic. Well, how do you
Pokemon's evil.
And Pokemon is evil. How do you defend that? You can't. Because the problem is, if you actually are invested in the Bible, you believe in magical thinking. So why is one magical thinking right and the other magical thinking is wrong? What happens is you need to know logic, and that's how you debate. So what would the problem with that would be is that you're doing special pleading. You're saying my magic is good, but their magic is bad. So, like for example, the prophet Shmuel comes, or Samuel, that's his name in English, comes to Saul. There's a witch of Endor who summons him, right? And
Better Call Saul?
And huh?
Is it Better Call Saul?
Yeah, Better Call Saul, exactly. And he goes to Saul summons him. Saul summons Samuel through the Witch of Endor, and they're like, "Oh, we don't believe in witchcraft and magic." But I'm like, this king, this holy noble king, summons a prophet of Israel to come to speak to him. I'm like, this is ridiculous that you're saying you don't believe in magic. Obviously, this is magic of God because a prophet of God is summoned. So it's like so bizarre because I'm like, your whole framework falls apart. You say you don't believe in magic, but your magic is contingent within the narrative. So I find these things to be so ridiculous. You're just like, I believe in this magic, but I don't believe in this other magic. You're like, hey, I think my Christian magic is good, but that Muslim magic, that's bad magic. That Jewish magic, it's crazy magic. Even though my whole religion is completely contingent on the Jewish magic, I still think Jews are bad. That's the funniest thing of these Christian apologists. I'm like, your whole religion is contingent on Judaism. You don't have a religion without Judaism. All your prophets are Jewish prophets. They're Israelite prophets. And you hate Judaism, but I'm like, dude, your religion is based on Judaism. You don't have Judaism, you don't have Christianity. And I'm like, it's like the most bizarre narrative, and it makes no sense. I'd love to debate that. People, debating against anti-Semitism. You hate Jews, yet your religion is based on Jews. I find that just shocking and bizarre in my assessment. It's just so crazy what these people believe, and it's nonsensical, and it's not even in their own internal logic. It fails. Their own magical thinking fails, and that's the most bizarre thing about it all. So
I think we need to start two campaigns. The first one would be ISA's Academy for Debating, so people who are going to go onto MDD can get a few lessons on how to present a case properly. And then the other thing that we need to campaign for is ISA debating Daniel Pikachu. I think that we need to make those two things happen, and I will be happy.
I will say there's only one way to really bring Christians, Jews, and Muslims back together again, and that's under the banner of Van Halen.
I missed the joke. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna just say that I
It's
think
a
it was
South
funny.
Park reference.
I think it was funny when he used the picture of Mars in the debate too. It was, and we were talking about, and then right away he's like, "We're talking about the moon here. Why are you showing a picture of Mars?" That was funny. That was
Yeah.
one of the
Speaking of
things
Mars, one thing I think is funny is when I see flat earthers being like, I was just searching on Google Earth one day and I noticed something. And then they like go to the spot where like they test the rovers out and they're like, see, the Mars is fake. I'm like, okay, first of all, if they were trying to hide that they're actually on Earth, why would they put it on Google Earth? Like, are you kidding me? Like this secret group that's trying to manipulate us. Oh yeah, they're just gonna stick it for everybody to see. Like, what?
There's some interesting news. They have, I think it's 43 signs of abnormalities of suns that they're going to point the James Webb Telescope at to see if they're Dyson spheres.
Oh yes. Yeah, one thing I will say about the Dyson spheres is that they I know that they were looking at a region of space and they noticed like it was just so void of light. They were thinking that possibly that could be where Dyson spheres were created because like it's such a vast area that is just devoid of light where there should be light.
Well, it's because of the spectrum of light they're seeing. It's too much infrared light. So there's something blocking the light spectrum. So they think any advanced civilization would put up. There's certain types of civilizations, so they think they would put up solar arrays around the sun to capture the light. So the Dyson sphere per se doesn't have to be like a sphere. It could just be enough collectors working together to collect the radiation. And they can make them now where they can redirect the energy wirelessly and redirect it down to another point on Earth specifically. They're working on doing that right now with current technology. there's certain companies in California that are going to put up collectors on Earth. I always worry about that. You're going to beam radiation down, collect it in
Yeah.
space, and beam it down on Earth. And I'm like, okay. But I thought that was interesting. So it's not saying there are Dyson spheres. They're just saying there's suns that look like they're too old, and they're red dwarf planets or red dwarf suns that look like they're too old and have too much infrared. So they think that maybe there's Dyson spheres. So they're going to look.
Yeah, I do know. Speaking somewhat of that, I did read something. I don't. It took me forever to find it again, but I did read that Japan was trying to come up with an idea to be able to collect sunlight much better than on Earth, which is building giant solar panels that would float around Earth, collect the actual light and radiation more directly, and then beam that down to Earth. But the group of people around the world, but they were like, yeah, that wouldn't be a good idea, because if you beam that down to Earth, you'd have to do it like in the ocean, but then you'd have to have a big radius where people couldn't go because of the amount of radiation that'd be coming off that,
No,
so.
It's not that dangerous. They've worked it all out. So they plan on doing them in California. So you need the generation where people live. You can't have it in the ocean.
Yeah.
So,
well, what Japan originally came up with was like major amount. So it was like
it doesn't matter. You can't have generation in the ocean. Generation needs to be close to where people are. So it can't be too far away, because transmission costs are too much money. So that's the problem with generation. You can't just have it way off in the middle of nowhere.
So if there are these Dyson spheres, then aliens exist, then, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
because that's how idiotic it is to say that. But anyways,
or they could have died off by now.
Yeah, but that would be sign of alien intelligent life in other solar systems. If they point it the antenna or the telescope and see Dyson spheres, that'd be cool. Or like some like artificial created technology. During the debate, did they go over the Van Allen belts or anything? How we went through them?
No,
didn't come up at all.
There was literally no real debate. It was just.
So we could I agree. We could talk about that. Like, does everybody understand like how we were able to navigate through the Van Allen belts and how we're going to do it now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So did the audience know how we did that?
No, but if you want to explain it, go right ahead.
Okay, so the major danger of the Van Allen belts is, of course, the radiation. The Van Allen belts is the Earth produces a magnetic field that protects us beautifully, because we're in a Goldilocks zone, which means we get enough sunlight for life to develop on Earth, because we're close enough to our sun, and we're big enough to develop an atmosphere. We got enough water and stuff to develop an atmosphere on Earth. Beautiful. And we also have axial tilt, because this other planet the size of Mars came and hit us, and this is what we think happened, came and crushed us, knocked us, caused us to wobble, and produced an accretion disk with this like planetoid moon around us that was really close, and then due to tidal forces it eventually got thrown out. And then with all this stuff, this interaction, we got a moon, we got an axial tilt around the sun, and we developed a magnetic field around the planet. This magnetic field is what the Van Allen belts are. These Van Allen belts protect the Earth from solar radiation coming from mostly the sun. So it's ionized. It's mostly electrons and neutrons. Yes, electrons and protons. Is it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's mostly alpha and beta particles, which is radiation, alpha beta radiation that comes from the sun. But we do get larger radiation from interstellar space, but most of that is protected. We're protected by what's called a heliosphere, which is around our solar system. But that the probes, the Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, had to go through, which they were successfully went through those the heliosphere. But anyway, so the Van Allen belt is this highly radiated belt that protects us from the solar winds. And that's what also produces the northern and southern lights, is when those we get like a solar storm and they go through the Van Allen belts. And because the magnetic lines of force, if you think about the North and South Pole, those magnetic lines of flux come out of the North and South Pole. So they're lower in elevation. So it's more tendency for those particles to get through the atmosphere at the North and South Pole. So that we get to see those aurora borealis and aurora australis. Is that what they are? The South Pole lights. Anyways, when we get some solar activity and stuff like that. So, everybody left when I started talking. Anyway, so the way we went through the Van Allen belt, we can protect ourselves from alpha particles with paper, a sheet of paper, just paper. Okay. So, but the shielding on, so that what you're seeing on the outside of the lunar lander, that's just the lunar lander too. Like the command service module is bigger than the lunar lander. The lunar lander was just to protect them while they were on the surface of the Earth, surface of the moon. Okay. The command service module was a larger thing that the lunar lander was attached to. So if you look at the Saturn V rocket, you had the Saturn V rocket, and then you had the command service module. Inside that was the lunar lander, and then you had the whatever the thing that there's a thing on the top which is like a emergency rocket just in case they had to land back on Earth. Something happened. They had that for an emergency thing. Anyway, so what they did, they took a tunnel through the Van Allen belts, which was the shortest path that had low activity, and they picked a time of the year where the Van Allen belts had low activity, and they went through it very, very fast. They spent like less than, I think it's 2 hours going through the Van Allen belt. So they didn't get exposed to very much radiation, and they had aluminum blocks beta particles, and they had insulation to protect them from heat, to temperature control and stuff like that within the module. So anyways, pretty cool. So they need paper to block alpha particles, aluminum block beta particles. People ask, well, why didn't they have lead to shield them? Because people think of like gamma rays and stuff like that, that you need lead to shield from gamma rays. But lead actually, for I think it's beta particles and lead or alpha particles, one of the two, there's this phenomenon with that and a vacuum and lead that produces X-rays. And as we all know, X-ray exposure can cause cancer. So you don't want overexposure with cancer. So that's why they didn't use lead to shield it. But they were shielded from the particles. They also did what was called a barbecue roll, because one thing is with the sun, it releases a lot of UV radiation and stuff, and infrared radiation, which is a lot of heat. Yeah, they did. That's what they did. They did a roll.
You turn, so you cook the ship in different sides, like a steak.
Yeah.
No, like a rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, barbecue roll. And so they rotated the ship as he went to the thing. So they didn't want the radiation to like build up on any one side from the sun. So as they went to the moon, they did this slow roll as they went to the moon. Well, why didn't they see the stars? Well, they were exposed to the sun the whole time they went to the moon. So they were in sunlight the whole time. So it was bright. And so the sunlight was shining in. So they had to, if you saw the picture they did of the Earth, they had to block off all the little like window ports and stuff like that, so they can just get a photo of the moon. People will say, well, that was a hoax, a photo of the moon. No, they had to block off all the other windows and just get the one window pointed towards the earth so they could get a good picture of the earth, because there was so much sunlight coming in, because there's no atmosphere, no Rayleigh scattering, no atmospheric attenuation of the light, no, none of that. It's like, and another thing, like when you're on the sun, that's why they wear visors, or when they're on the moon, excuse me, there's no atmosphere on the moon, and the ground, the earth, if you want to call it, the regolith is what we do call it on the moon, is the colors there are like muted. They're like grayish colors and stuff like that. And they're really bright. There's like 200 watts per meter reflected up on you. You get like a sunburn like that if you were walking around there, because there's no UV protection and nothing at all. So that's why they had to wear the suits and have the visors and stuff like that when they're out there. I just want to share that. So
kind of like walking.
Ashton has a question for you. Were these precautions even necessary, or did they just overestimate the danger of the belt?
Yep, they overestimated the danger of the belt. They thought it was more dangerous than it was. They thought they would have more radiation exposure than they actually did. That is also true, Ashton. It's probably why you asked the question, because he wants to put it out there, because they thought they would actually get a lot more radiation exposure than they did. I can't remember what the actual numbers were, but
it's always good to be overprotected when your life is in danger.
Yeah, they thought that they would be exposed to a lot more radiation than they were actually exposed to.
Oh, he said that he had no idea. Shifty says, no atmosphere. Can play golf though.
Isn't it a slight atmosphere though? It's not like
it's a very thin atmosphere, but golf doesn't require an atmosphere.
It's basically but the atmosphere of the moon is not much greater than it is in between the moon and the earth. So like the deep space is like 1 atom per cubic meter. So like 1 atom of hydrogen per cubic meter. That's 1 times 10 to the 17th negative 17th torr, right? Something like that. So it's it's basically 0. It's a rounding error, right? On the moon too. Like there's no, but you don't need an atmosphere to play golf. So the physics, if anything, when you, like the law of free fall says, if there's no atmosphere, then there's no friction to stop the ball when you hit it. So if you go back to Galileo says it's the atmosphere that would block the projectile, that would slow the projectile down when you hit it. Other than that, it's the free fall that would cause it to come back down. So Galileo theorized that well before Newton ever did. He understood that. He just knew that the downward acceleration was 9.8 meters per second squared, or something like that. He knew that what the downward acceleration was. He just didn't know it was mass attract mass. That was Newton that came up with that. But the law of free fall goes back to Galileo. And the law of free fall, they actually tested in, was it 15 or 16? Apollo 16 with the hammer and the feather?
Yeah. It came up. I think MC Toon showed it in his debate with Nora Dr. Raza. Yeah. He showed the video of them dropping the hammer.
I think it's 16,
Yeah, 16. So it's where on the moon, they actually dropped a hammer and a feather on the moon, and they fell at the same rate because there's no atmosphere that was slowing it down. So that's called the law of free fall. Nowadays, we just call it the law of gravity.
Shifty, yeah, I know we haven't sent
or law
anyone
of inertia.
there's no reason to go until we start planning to build a base on the moon. We have people in the space station, though. That is pretty
Which
far.
eventually is going to be coming down.
I think those are the more interesting arguments. The arguments about that we haven't sent folks, and the ideas of the radiation. These are actual interesting arguments one could bring up if they wanted to debate this. But we don't get those arguments. We don't. It's just weird. I'm like, there are much better arguments than the ones that are being presented.
Yeah. We get the lazy ones.
It's because we get flat earthers that do the debates instead of moon landing hoaxers. We get the flat earthers.
But Raza is not a flat earther. Do you remember if Raza is a geocentrist?
I don't think he's a geocentrist.
Yeah, he's not a sophisticated. He doesn't understand physics.
They deleted that video though, so I couldn't see if because I remember him saying he believes in what the mainstream believes, but he doesn't believe that we went to the moon or with the man, but they unmanned mission to the moon. But so he goes to the mainstream about everything else. I think
we sent
so
robots.
Only one thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I will say I think is funny is when I've seen flat earthers try to take the footage from the Indian space agency, India. And they're like, see, you're using CGI. I'm like, no, that's a mock-up of the telemetry coming from the craft itself being projected as a 3D model on there. It's like they don't understand that, they don't. It's like, no, of course that's not the actual footage of the shuttle. Like, are you kidding me? Like
I wanted to share with everyone, they are already building the next generation space telescope. Give me just a second. And it's
the Einstein.
No, it's called the Roman telescope, and I will share with everyone the link right there if you want to read the article. And this will be even more advanced than the JWST. So pretty exciting that
they're building the Einstein telescope too. It's to look at it's not to look at objects though, but
yeah, I do know that there's a few space agencies right now working together, especially the Chinese space agency, because they want to build a telescope in one of the craters on the far side of the moon, so that they can get better images far away from Earth, without the atmosphere and the zone that protects Earth and everything, which will be interesting because, like, from what they're saying, that thing's going to be huge. It's going to be bigger than the dish that we had here before nature took it down. So
Ashton asks, will there be eventually a theme park on the moon as Futurama prophesied? Hopefully. I hope that we get space tourism during our lifetime. That would be epic.
I hope we have businesses and stores from like Pluto Nash. That'd be cool.
I mean, I would be happy with just a suborbital flight that is affordable for people. I would be quite happy with that.
I wonder
up and down.
If we could build like a halo ring around the moon.
I don't know what a halo ring is. I've never played Halo. I don't know what they do.
Halo around the moon? Probably not.
No? Okay. It'd be cool though.
I'm still thirsty, dude. I'm drinking. I put water in it, but I'm drinking 6, 7. This will be my 8th one of these.
Yeah,
that's only barely a gallon though. Yeah, I'm supposed to drink like 2 gallons, and it's how am I supposed to drink 2 gallons?
Just keep at it. It's
that's how much camels drink.
At this point, you might as well just put an IV in your arm and just carry around.
They don't even do IVs that fast.
Right. So I don't think we have much else to do today, and I noticed that MC Toon is doing his debate review of Wixit, so we're gonna redirect over to MC Toon's channel. We will have the pre-shows and after show for the coming up debates, the one with Derpsoid and the one with Mark Reed and Evidence of God. So stay tuned for that. Tomorrow, 9 p.m., we have the Tell Me That Story show with Isa. We're going to talk about Quakers. What are they? Who are they? What do they believe? And some funny stuff in typical Tell Me That Story show fashion. Oz, it's good to see you up and about. Let's go around and give our final thoughts. I'll start with you, Isa, and then do the inverse turn. Looks like we lost Isa. So, Batman, take it away. Final thoughts.
I mean, like I said before, there wasn't really a debate at all, really. It was kind of over once the openings were done. Because I mean, at the end of the day, Rasa, I forget his name now.
Rasa.
Yeah, just was kind of all over the place, and he had nothing else to really bring to the table. He was just like, "Look at my Legos," and then that was it. Which I will say I have to question whether or not those are real Legos.
Maybe they're knockoff. They're from.
Yeah, they're knockoff Legos.
Yeah, they're Costco Legos.
Let's see can prove it. I mean, he is in China, so, and they are known for knockoffs. So
yes,
they could be knockoffs, but yeah, it's just I wish there was actually more of a debate. It would have been nice to have actually had something, but it was just kind of like an hour of pretty much nothing. Yeah. So,
yeah. We were left wanting in this one. It was sad. It was really sad. Hopefully we get a break from Rasa for a while now.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it seems like not very many people are debating much anymore on MDD because a lot of people have kind of up and left. Some of my favorites. So,
okay, Billy, final thoughts?
Yeah, hopefully we don't have to see this guy again. I mean, he did what I knew he was going to bring up the Freemasonry at least once, and he did. To bring up something that I think I should say again, maybe, but Ryan could have done more modding this time compared to other debates where he decides to stick his nose in where it shouldn't belong. Especially when Ozian's debating, he'll cut Ozian off when he's not even calling people a fucking idiot or stupid, like Craig did. Someone in the chat called him Billy Goat. Didn't get thing. Like, I mean, there, like, he was, like, I mean, it's one of those things where it's, if someone's gonna say stuff like that, people are not gonna take them seriously, and they're just gonna be ridiculed. And I think it makes MDD look bad, but everybody, or I don't know why James. Well, I mean, this one doesn't even make that much money, too. To be honest, it doesn't seem like it gets that much money, so I don't think it's worth it for MDD. Yeah, but maybe they don't have anyone else. They need more people wanting to debate, though, too. I think maybe there's a problem.
Yeah, when this happens and you get just a handful of super chats, it makes it not worth it. Or when you have people like Nadir who doesn't understand the point of the freaking super chat. It's like, dude, get the point. You've been in the channel a long time. People want to ask you questions not related to the debate. They want to ask you questions. You just answer, dude. They're spending money. Get the point.
And if you don't know, you have to say, I don't know, and don't pretend like you know everything, because not everybody knows everything, or else there would be a know-it-all, which doesn't exist. But thanks for letting me talk again, like always. And
it's always a pleasure.
Good night, everybody.
Final thoughts? Anything you want to say?
Nope. I've been publishing shorts, so hopefully you like them.
Yeah, they're on point. You sent me a message that you need maybe are having problems with audio editing. If I can give you a hand with that, let me know, and I can help you.
Yeah,
Work on that.
I'm having
my
trouble.
ears work fine.
Yeah, my tinnitus. I
Tinnitus.
can't.
Tinnitus.
Yeah, tinnitus.
Tinnitus. Some people pronounce it tinnitus, but I
It's
think that the
tinnitus.
correct it's
Tinnitus.
tinnitus. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been getting entertained with your videos. They're quite good. So it's good to have you better. So hopefully we get more of you back with your regular shows and keep on getting better.
Yeah. I hope do some more debates. I want to debate Latter-day Saints. I think that'd be funny.
No, why? That guy is a waste of time.
Who's not a waste of time?
But I know. But the problem is that guy he doesn't have anything. He doesn't even understand the stuff that you're talking about. Like the debate goes way over his head.
Who's a flat earther that understands things?
You're right in that. But the problem is that this guy is like negative level of flirt. It's like -1.
There's a guy. I think
tutorial.
There's a couple of people I think that maybe from that Earth Awakenings you could try and debate maybe like Rakia Life and that Brian Lake guy.
But on Modern Day Debate.
Yeah, they might do it, or they probably want to do it on Jaronism though. That's the only problem, maybe. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to print him out, Jaron. He cut me off, dude. Yeah. It was like I'll go, but yeah, I plan on doing more streams too.
Yes, we miss you.
Yeah, it's my last stream. It's like, man, I can't talk anymore. Anyways, I gotta go. Bye.
All right, catch you later.
Right.
So everyone, remember to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner of your house and yell, subscribe to Matters Now! And that way you can help spread the channel and spread the love. We're, I think, 2 subscribers away from 10,300. So we're picking back up and we're getting more of an audience. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Remember, tomorrow we have Tell Me That Story show, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if Oz doesn't schedule a video, I have some things in the works that we might do the rest of the week. So, Oz, we hope you get better soon. Focus on your health. And everyone, thank you for being here. We're going to redirect to Toon's channel. He's going over Witted debate with Professor Dave. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. Let them know that you come from Matters Now, and we'll catch you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for being here. Take care. Have a good night.